Graders, Mr. Songer here with makeup lesson number 5, and this is a makeup lesson on the topic of sight reading. And so I'm going to give you some tips today on how to play a piece of music successfully for the first time. And what I would like you to do upon completion of this video is to give me a summary of what I've talked about in a paragraph form or in a list form of the things that I talk about. One reason we're talking about sight reading is your next playing test is going to be to do a solo. And in order to do a solo, we need to pick a solo out of several options that I'll be giving you. And when you play these songs for the first time, we want to make sure we do them well. Now, there's many other reasons for talking about successful sight reading. A lot of times in band, I'm handing out music that you're playing for the first time. Sometimes you will be playing music out of your book for the first time, and you just want to do the best you can. And then there's also sometimes if you get to the point where you're auditioning for things, sometimes sight reading is part of the audition. How well can you play a song the first time? So there's a lot of good reasons to try to sight read to the best of your ability. So I have 7 tips today that I'm going to give you when you sight read a song, and I just want you to listen carefully. I'll go through them fairly quickly. The very first thing you want to do when you get a song to sight read is you want to look at the key signature. You want to see how many flats or sharps that you have, and make sure that you then follow that throughout the entire song. You also want to take a look and see if the key signature changes at all throughout the song, which sometimes it can. And you can always see that by looking at the beginning of each line and just seeing if the same number of flats and sharps are at the beginning of each line. Second thing you want to look at is your time signature. You need to make sure you know if you're in 4/4 or 3/4 or 6/8 or cut time, so that you know how to count the rhythms and measures as you go throughout the song. And then also just take a quick look and make sure the time signature doesn't change throughout the song. Now the time signature isn't listed at the beginning of each line, but you can just take a quick look through and see if at any point you see something change in the song. Third thing that you want to do is check your tempo. Usually there's a word at the beginning that indicates how fast or slowly that you play. These could be words like allegro, largo, andante, vivace, moderato. Look for those words. Sometimes you also might see a metronome marking like quarter note equals a number. And then you might need to actually, check a metronome and see how fast that is. Couple key little hints you can think about is if it's 60 beats, if quarter note equals 60, that's 1 beat per second. So 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi. 120 beats per minute would be twice that fast. Okay. As far as the words, you just have to get to know those words. There's some very common ones, like the ones I just rattled off. We'll be talking a little bit about that in band over the course of the school year, so you can hopefully remember what those words mean. Like allegro means moderately fast, moderato means a medium tempo, andante is a medium slow tempo. Next thing I want you to look at are, as you look through the chart or look through the song, hard notes and hard rhythms. And look up fingerings if you have a chance to do that. This could include really high notes or really low notes. It could include notes that have accidentals like sharps or flats, or naturals that are a little bit foreign to you. You're not as familiar with them. As far as rhythms go, rhythms are a little bit trickier because it's hard to figure out a rhythm. But use all the skills you've learned so far as time signatures, the rhythm counting that we've done in band to see if you can figure it out. Keep things in mind that quarter notes are twice as long as eighth notes are twice as long as 16th notes, and try to just think of those proportions as you go through the song. Next thing as you look through the song is look for patterns. A lot of times songs have patterns, so you might find a tricky rhythm and then notice that that rhythm occurs over and over again or at different places in the song. So instead of thinking, wow, there's a lot of hard rhythms in here, you might realize, oh, there's only one hard rhythm in here and it just happens consistently. So if I can figure out that rhythm, I can do it. The next thing is form, and that would be things like first and second endings, repeat signs, DC and DS al fines or DC and DS al codas, and know where you're going in the song. That's a great thing to figure out, because sometimes you could look at the song and be like, wow, I think I can do this. I got the key signature figured out, the rhythms figured out. But if you miss a repeat, all of a sudden you're lost and you're in the wrong spot. And if you get lost when you're playing a song for the first time, it can be very tricky to get back to where you should be. So really look for those repeat signs. In fact, a lot of times I'll take a pencil and circle those things and make sure that I'm catching them right away. And then the last thing is look for your dynamics and articulations. A lot of times when we sight read, we're really just focused on getting the right notes and rhythms, and sometimes, to be quite honestly, that's maybe all you're going to grab the first time through if it's a really hard song. But sometimes you're able to catch a couple of those dynamics and articulations as well. You know, you might notice, wow, there's a lot of slurs in here, or staccatos, or wow, I noticed that there's this first section is all forte, and this next section is all piano, and those might be some easier things to kind of grab onto and be like, okay, well, I'll get those. So notice those dynamics and articulations. And I guess just to kind of sum everything up, I would say that if you ever are doing an audition and you have to sight read, don't just jump right into it. Take the time to do all of those 7 things I just said. You know, after the judge or whoever's doing the audition says, okay, go ahead and play. Just take a moment and make sure that you quickly go through those different steps. Sometimes I'll take a good minute or two just to look through that stuff if they allow me. Sometimes they'll say after a few seconds, okay, you need to start playing now, and that's fine. That's fine. They know that you're looking things over, and they know that you're trying to get everything in your head before you play it. So that's absolutely fine to do that. And you can even do that in band. When you get a new song in band that I pass out, and you're sitting there waiting for everyone else to get the song passed out and the percussion to get their instruments out or whatever it may be, just start looking it over. Look over those 7 things so that when you actually start playing it as a band, that you're ready to go. And finally, leading back to the solo project, as you're looking through these songs and playing through them to decide which one you want to do, make sure you look at all 7 of those things so you can give yourself a fair shot at knowing how these songs are going to go. So, because you want to choose one that you like and one you feel like you can do well. And if you sight read them properly, then you can get a good idea of which song that may be. So again, take some time now. You can write a paragraph if you want to list those 7 things and just say, here's the 7 things to do. That's fine, but just give me a brief synopsis of sight reading. Thanks.